Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to the channel. Crimsonpanda here with another Mercenaries meta video. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since we've done one of these, so I think it's about time that we do. I think HS Replays will have some new and updated data for us to take a look at. Hopefully some new comps with really high win rates. And just one thing before we get started, this is behind a paywall and I am showing it to you guys for free. I've paid the subscription fee, so all I ask in return is if you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate the support. So let's head over and check out these new comps. Okay, so here we are over on the Mercenaries party tab. So what I've done is I filtered it to minimum games of 100 because a lot of the comps that are new are obviously going to have a very small game sample size, so we definitely want to be taking a look at some of those new upcoming comps. And we have filtered it to top 50 MMR range at the moment, but we will cycle through all three of these and also go over the all players right at the end as well. So starting off with the top 50, the very high win rate here, as you can see I filtered it to win rates. This will be the lowest, this is the highest. We have a arcane dragon build. So as a lot of you already know, I have just posted a video on this one, so if you're interested in the arcane dragon build, then here it is. I have an in-depth detailed video on how to play it and the way I play it. So we have Yulong with Pearl of Yulong in the opener, Nefarian with spare parts, and Ysera with Dream Infusion. And then on the bench we have Medivh with Unstable Ruins, we have Longzin with Band of Bursting Novas, and Reno with Explorer's Hat. So the idea here is to use your dragons to try and survive as much as you can, obviously doing dragon bits, big AoEs with Ysera, healing up with the tokens from Nefarian, and also Yulong being able to protect your other dragons and also heal him up as well with his second ability, the Jade Flame Buffet. And then once your dragons start dying off, you then have your Longzin to be able to come out and really help this arcane backline here. So we have Reno, he's running the Explorer's Hut, which means the Dazzling Flexing actually does damage to all of the enemies, but it starts on a cooldown, which is why he's on the bench. This can do like 50 to 100 damage with the help from Longzin and the arcane. Medivh also has an arcane buff as well for spell damage if you was to taunt a merc up, so that also helps a little bit with Reno scaling as well. Medivh has the first ability to be able to force Reno to do a crit damage, which is also nice as well, but that's mainly used for Longzin because Longzin has a 7-speed ability, whereas Medivh will then use the 5-speed ability to make the Longzin crit, and then that crit carries over if you end up killing off that mercenary. So all in all, a very solid comp, which is why we filtered it to game sample size 100, because this wouldn't show up otherwise, and it is definitely a very solid comp. So moving on here, we have a standard Frost with nature backline, so still absolutely solid win rate, 67.6. You're going to climb with these comps. Anything over 50, if you play enough games, you will climb. So that's very good. And especially if you're in the low MMO range of 3-2, you're going to end up climbing even on the losses. So these are just fun to learn while you're in that low range. So you have Belinda, Localar, and Khadgar. So we got the Lesser Water Elemental, the Frigid Winds, and the Bitter Chill. And then we have Cookie for the appetizers, Ysera and Bane. So the idea between these two here is Ysera is going to speed up Bane so that Bane can get his big AoE off. We've seen that a lot. Obviously there's quite a lot of high power greens on the benches like Sylvanas and Sinestras, and now also Ysera being used on the bench as well quite a lot. So Bane is really good to be able to crit those mercenaries. And then the Frost frontline is just a solid one. So Belinda being able to freeze stuff and scale with the frost damage, Localar being able to scale with the frost damage to enable just huge amounts of damage, and then Khadgar being able to freeze units and also deal massive AoE as well at a 5-speed if you're going up against a very fast party. So pretty solid comp. Definitely recommend playing that one if you have all those mercenaries. Next up we have a nature, like a full nature comp. So I think I've done a video on something similar to this, maybe not necessarily this exact one. I can't also remember. Bigger sample size here, but still a very solid comp. So we've got Brucon with the Lightning Rod to make Chain Lightning repeat an additional time. We have Malfurion with the Light Roof Staff to heal every time a nature ability is used. And then Nemsy with Bogmoss being able to allow your mercenaries to take 7 less damage thanks to Boggy. So Nemsy is a very, very usable, very solid mercenary in a lot of comps because of Boggy. And being nature just does really help this package a lot. Being able to protect Malfurion then being able to heal up the Boggy as well from Nemsy. And then it's just going to keep your Brucon alive to be able to scale, ready for that Lightning Rod after the first 2 cooldowns. And then on the bench, once again, the exact same as the comp before. So we have Cookie with the appetizers, we have Ysera with the Emerald Majesty, and we have Bane with Totemic Mastery. So this is doing the exact same thing as before, but using Nature package instead of the Frost opener with this one. Not doing as good as the Frost one, but still a solid one if you have these Mercs. These ones were a lot easier to get if you played the game earlier on, but if you're new, you'd probably actually have these ones more likely than you would the Nature guys. So moving on, we have another Frost. So this is a little bit different. So instead of running the Khadgar, you've got the Jaina and the Varden package with Localar. So this is more of the original Frost. So we have Chilling Amulet with Varden, we have the Ice Block with Jaina, and the Localar with Frigid Winds. And then on the bench, we have the full nature package here with Tyrande and Bane. So Tyrande is using the Band of the Wilds to be able to cast nature abilities twice, which is going to really help with Bane using that third ability, dealing 25 damage to all enemies. It's going to cast twice. If you're going up against green units, that's going to deal over 100 damage, which is obviously going to kill those green units. The only thing that's going to stop that is if they kill Tyrande or Bane during that sequence. And I guess that's why Belinda's there. Belinda coming out once one of your first Frost units die, being able to freeze some stuff up, plus getting that Localar buff as well, or the Jaina buff, depending on which one of these survives. And yeah, it's just a pretty decent comp. This has only got 100 game sample size, which is strange because I've seen this comp a lot. I think it's because of the Chieftain's Feather equipment on Bane. This is usually used with the Totemic Mastery. So that's probably why this game sample size is very low. And we'll go for the last one here in the top range, in the top 50 range, and this has over 1,000 games played. So we have a full arcane in the opener, and then the backline is a little bit of nature with the help of Tess. So very strong opener. This is going to be destroying a lot of those openers, which include a red unit, so the Localar in the one above, plus the Old Gods ones, including this Ysera one here, and Trigor comps as well. So you're using Medivh with the Unstable Ruins to try and counter stuff, and then you're going to be popping off with your 2 blues into their red units, allowing Blink Fox to crit anything because of Medivh is going to obviously use the 5 speed first on this first ability, and then Khadgar being able to freeze and then eventually scale with the half fire ability, and then go in Archmage. Is just a really strong arcane opener, hence why a lot of people have been playing it with over 1,000 games. And then we have the standard Ysera Bane package here in the background, so that you can speed up Bane doing those AoEs, plus you can also do the AoEs with Ysera if it's a blue bench that you're going up against. So very nice flexibility with these two. And then we're using Tess with the Tools of the Trade, which is going to transform your first and second ability into random one-use abilities, which can be ridiculous stuff. It can be a Ysera's Rage Unbound. It can just absolutely be crazy with Tess. That's why this has been played a lot, because it's a very good counter to comps that just do crazy stuff. So if you're going up against Old Gods and you want to nick one of their abilities, like Cthulhu's very good, Ysera's very good to be able to just take one of their cooldown abilities, it have no cooldown, and just be able to win games solo with Tess alone. So no surprise that this one is up in the 61% with the 1,000 games played. Sorry. I guess I will cover this one. This one obviously is a very common comp. The only difference here is they've included tests here. So 630 games, 61.2% win rate. So we have Vol'jin, Kazakus, and Yashiraj in the opener. So we all know what this does. So Vol'jin speeds the team up, Kazakus summons the golems with Divine Shield, and then Yashiraj steals the attack from everything and just pops off and hopefully kills a couple of green units in the opener, or at least one mercenary if you end up getting the swing right and there's nothing in the way. With Nemzi and Boggy being popular, this is going to punch into the Boggy, killing it, then gain more attack, and then punch into something else at random, hopefully hitting a green, getting another kill, but if not, still doing an immense amount of damage at only 3 speed. And then as of your bench, we have Queen Azura because of the heals and the shadow comp. So if you've still got Vol'jin up and you're using Queen Azura, you're going to get some nice quick free heals. Sylvanas there because of Kazakus. Kazakus is obviously summoning a lot of golems, so Sylvanas is just a must add because you're going to be using all of those deaths in order to scale her up with her ability that scales her attack, and then Death Volley is obviously going to wipe the board out potentially if scaled up high enough. And then a lot of people have been adding Tess into this comp as well because of the crazy shenanigans that Tess can come up with. So no matter what you go against, no matter how far behind you might get at the start of the game or even in the middle of the game, Tess can potentially come in and just steal the game with just crazy abilities. So if you have Tess and you haven't upgraded her, then I recommend upgrading her. If not for wins, then for fun, because Tess is an absolute powerhouse and an absolute fun mercenary to just play in your comp. So that is it kind of for these main ones here with the highest win rate in top 50. We kind of went a little bit deep into those, so hopefully we have some similar comps as we climb. So going into the top 20, so as you can see here, the arcane comp that I've done that video on the other day, 70% win rate. So the win rate has absolutely jumped so far up from the 69%. It's gone up by 1%, but that 1% putting it into the 70 mark is very awesome to look at, and obviously more of a win rate the higher you climb. So you can use this comp to climb consistently from 3-2 to 7-3, so over 4,000 MMR with this comp, getting a higher win rate as you climb. So this is actually doing better in the top 20 than it is in the top 50, so definitely play this build if you have it. And then just below that we still have the nature comp here, but this one is actually gone up a little bit as well. So it was down here with the 65, it is now up here. Well, the actual win rate has dropped, but it is the next highest win rate in this top 20. Then just below that up here is with 480 games played, we have the Kazakus Shadow. So Vol'jin Ring of Haste, Wildvine with Kazakus, Mark of Yashiraj with Yashiraj, Death Volley with Sylvanas, the heal ability with Queen Azura, can't pronounce that one very well, and then the tools of the trade with Tess. If you did want to play that one, then they are the equipments. Just below that we have the arcane package with the nature bench, the one where it doubles up the Bane's third ability plus the absolute red destroyer. So if you're going up against a lot of stuff where there's a red absolutely dominating, then definitely use this comp, because this comp obviously blows that away with the first 3 openers. You can switch the bench in any way you like. It's mainly these first 3 that are going to destroy that red that you're struggling with. And then just below that we have a newish kind of comp. So here we have a Reno Elise Nemzi with Cookie, N'Zoth and Zambi. So obviously here we have the Explorer package with the Boggy. So at the start of the game, advance the quest of the Golden Monks. This is a monkey quest, obviously. So Nemzi is going to protect Elise. Reno is obviously going to make him target Reno, which means his death rattle will go off, hopefully doing a lot of stuff. And then once your monkey is out, you're going to be transitioning in with N'Zoth, and N'Zoth is going to be able to just wipe the board out with the help of the monkey and all of the minions you have out with the plus 15 spell damage. So this is more of a memey one, but still doing pretty well. 60% win rate at 160 games is not too bad, especially for a monkey comp. I feel there are probably better monkey comps out there, but this is the one that people are playing by the looks of it, having more games played with it and having that win rate set in the in this client as well. Okay, so let's move on to top 10. Let's see what's everybody's playing in the high end of the meta. So as you can see, win rate dropped, and surprisingly, with the highest win rate but the lowest games is actually that monkey comp we were just talking about. So this must be doing well in top 10. I imagine monkey is countering a lot of the high end meta comps at the moment. So we have Reno, Elise and Nemzi, Cookie, Nazoth and Zambi. So I guess you can probably run Zambi instead of Nemzi in the opener to guarantee like a bounce back, bringing back. It's actually using new client in this one, which is going to resurrect a Merc that died. Other than bringing back Nazoth, I fail to see how this could help in such a way. But you could easily use Reno and Elise to just get your treasure out, get your monkey, Nemzi just protecting Elise mainly, and then Nazoth comes out with monkey doing massive AoE, and then Zambi is going to hopefully bring back Nazoth and not Nemzi, and then you can go again if they end up killing off the Nazoth. But very, very surprised to see that is top 10. Just below that, very common comp here, we have Valera, Trigor and Nefarian. So this is a Trigor comp with Valera, and then it's running Karen, Tyrande and Longzin on the bench. So we've got the Dragon Beast package here with Trigor and Nefarian. So that's why Longzin is being ran. And then Tyrande is there for the Arcane Slavo with Longzin to just do those silly Tyrande huge hits with the help from Longzin, because of your Trigor Nefarian is going to get enough beasts and dragons killed off, and then Karen's there to speed him up, Longzin's there to help Tyrande, and Tyrande's there to do all of the killing. Valera there for speed. You Trigor, Valera, Nefarian all in turn 1. You're going to be killing off some stuff with Trigor. You're going to be speed a lot faster the next turn so that you can do the same thing again, and then potentially having all 3 killed off at once to be able to bring out your entire bench to be able to just blow the game away with Tyrande. So no surprise seeing this in the top 10. A little bit lower win rate than I thought, but that's probably because people know what they're going up against so that they can try to counter it or bring out their bench slowly. So definitely keep an eye out on that one. Just below that we have the Arcane build with the Tess. So obviously here we have Medivh, Blinkfox and Khadgar doing those kill the reds, and then we're using the Ysera Bane bench with the fun Tess shenanigans. So the win rate has dropped a little bit, but the game sample size stays the same. And then just below that we have the Shadow Kazakus. So very surprised to see this one up here instead of the Full Gods. I guess people are transitioning into this Ysera one over the last couple of weeks because there was a lot of old god comps being played. So this one is just getting the work done a lot faster. So they're using Vulcan, Kazakus and Ysera with the usual equipments, and then using Asura, Tess and Zambi. So Zambi is after one of your trolls dies, restores 7 health, which is crazy because unless Kazakus survives and is getting golems out, then Zambi isn't going to heal much. So, and if they target Yashiraj, which I think they will, that's why Kazakus being Zambi is the first one coming out. Plus he's a Shadow Merc as well, gaining some health, keeping the other 2 alive. It's very surprising to see him there instead of Sylvanas. I feel Sylvanas would be a better green in that spot, which is probably why this win rate drops a little bit. And then is there any other ones I want to cover? So here we have the Leroy comp. So we'll cover the Leroy comp. I've done a video on this one as well. This is the new Leroy combo comp. Not very good win rate, still enough to be able to climb. This is pretty good for top 10, but I guess people kind of know what to expect, so they can kind of counter this in specific ways with the comps that they use. Only 240 games, so still a very, very new comp. People are playing it. There's enough data to add it to to the client. So I'll talk you through this one. So we have Valera, Nemsy and Zambi. So we're using Valera's Unnatural Smoke because it's just the best one. And we have Nemsy's Boggy. It's the best equipment. You're always going to use the Boggy. That's going to protect your Valera. And then Zambi's using Arena Contender because you're going to be bouncing back on turn 1. You're going to be fan of knives with Valera. And then Nemsy is probably going to attack with Boggy into something and then use the ability to bring Boggy back or heal it if it doesn't die. And then the idea is to speed up Rikara, Mr. Smite and Leroy so that all of their abilities are at 0. So you're going to be using the offensive rally with Rikara at 0 speed, giving huge amounts of attack and health to Mercs that attack. You're going to be using Overboard with Mr. Smite so that if any of your friendlies take damage, he's going to attack, which in time will give Rikara's buff to Mr. Smite. And then you're going to be using Leroy's Leroy Jenkins ability, which he's going to attack at least 3 times depending on how many mercenaries your opponent has. And once he's attacking, he's obviously going to be scaling up thanks to Rikara as well. And each attack will actually trigger Mr. Smite. He doesn't do all 3 first. He attacks once, then Smite attacks, scaling both of them up. And this clears boards. It's a very, very fun combo. If you haven't seen the video, then I definitely recommend you seeing it. There will be a link at the start of this video where you can check that out. So definitely go and check that out because it is a absolute fun comp to play, even if the win rate is lacking compared to some of the other stuff. And we will just take a look at all players to see which one is the absolute top comp with the highest win rate in all MMRs. So it looks like here it is the Arcane Dragon one. So if you do want to play this one, like I said, I have a video on this if you want a little bit more detail on how to run it or how to play it yourselves. And I talk about the equipment and why I'm using them all in that video as well, so feel free to check that out. And then I think it's kind of all of the top 50 stuff. So we have the Frost here, we have the Nature, we have the other Frost alternative, we have the Arcane package here, the Monkey package, the Vulgin, Savannah Yasharaj Shadow, and then going down it just gets into some of these other ones. So pretty good win rate for a lot of them, obviously the Arcane one being the standout. I will just go into top 500, see most popular games. So the most popular games played, actually let's go 100 but still filter it. So the most played comp, if you want to play the most played comp in the game at the moment, with a 59.2% win rate, so still a very good win rate, it is Valera Trigon Nefarian with the Karen Tyrande Longzin bench. So this is obviously a very, very highly played comp, which is why followed behind that is the absolute counter to it, which is the Medivh Blinkfox Kill Trigor turn 1, no questions asked comp. Being able to prevent Trigor's ability with Unstable Ruins, so which will in time deny Valera. So yeah, if you want to play this comp and you want to beat this comp, then you play this comp. So it's kind of like a shuffle between these two depending on which one you're going up against or which one you want to play yourself. So I think that is about it for today's video. I hope this has been educational. I hope you guys have found a comp that you want to play. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It means a lot. I will do more of these, probably more frequently. Hopefully the meta will change and we'll get some new mercenaries very soon. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.